Hello everyone, welcome to the MediaTek podcast. I'm your host Gaurav Chaudhary. This podcast series is in conversation with some of the finest minds in the world of technology. Every episode, we talk to experts from MediaTek and its partners across a range of products and solutions, from the mobile industry and automobile sector to health, entertainment, and next generation wearables. The MediaTek podcast streams on MediaTek web channels on earshot.in, spotify.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a host of other platforms. In this episode, we are delighted to have Rituparna Mandal, General Manager, MediaTek Bangalore. We're going to talk about 5G technologies, AI, machine learning, and deep learning, and the anticipated birth of new product value propositions and business models. Welcome to the show, Rituparna.
Thank you, Gaurav. It's great to be here.
Okay, let's start off with asking you a very basic question. And it's about something that is, that's in the news, because this a technology that probably is going to impact our lives positively, of course, in the coming weeks and months and years. It's about 5G. Now, if we were to realize the true potential of 5G by combining it with new age technologies, say artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, and deep learning, it'll be the birth of new product value propositions and business models. What is MediaTek's technology strategy to address this evolving ecosystem? How does MediaTek become part of this rapidly evolving ecosystem that, as we said, is going to impact our lives positively in the coming years?
Yeah, Gaurav. So I think, as we're all aware, 5G is the buzzword, right, that everyone is talking about. And, it's 100 times faster than 4G. Not only that, it delivers ultra low latency and ultra reliable, highly secure connectivity, right? So that is 5G in itself. But when you combine 5G technology with AI, ML, and DL, like you mentioned, whether artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, what it can do or what it has a potential to do is really, unlock the power of intelligent computing and to drive innovation across industries, not limited to one particular area. So what are these, some of these examples, right? It will enable enterprises to make better data-driven decisions, right? It will provide precise real-time and predictive analytics, which will enable better customer experience. So when you go, when someone is doing online shopping and, someone is choosing, let's say, a particular health product, it will have, continuous AI running in the background to help you make the right choice, for yourself based on your experience. And of course, when you bring in edge computing and user-centric network technologies, that will also popularize intelligent applications, and that will go beyond, across segments, right? And when we talk about segments, we're talking about autonomous vehicles, asset tracking, robotic factories, remote surgeries. In the healthcare, remote surgeries is already a reality, but it will become more and more a reality moving forward with these technologies put together. And of course, supply chain management, cloud gaming, is a big area where this will have a great impact. Content delivery, smart homes, these are some of the leading cases of the combination of these technologies.
Right.
And you asked me about MediaTek, right? How we are kind of addressing this evolving ecosystem. Of course, as we are aware, MediaTek has been one of the leaders or forerunners, I would say, in 5G technology development, right? We are committed to over 100 billion NTD in 5G R&D to date. That translates to about 3.3 billion USD, right? And it is because of this investment in R&D that we have been able to kind of stay ahead of the game, right? And it's not, 5G is not, something where we are playing this technology game for the first time. We have a long track record of, research and development achievements, which include the 3GPP involvement in the 5G and cellular standards consortium, and a growing broad 5G-enabled product range. That is one of the, strengths, I would say, of the company. And, so far, actually, MediaTek has established an ecosystem of 100 plus global 5G operators, industry partners, and global brands. And 25 plus 5G technology firsts with global operators, right? So I think, we are, as a company, MediaTek is highly prepared and, ready to push the boundaries on, what this evolving ecosystem has for us.
If you could tell us more about the MediaTek R&D facility in Bengaluru and how is that it has been contributing to the global scheme of things, both for MediaTek as well as in the larger technology space.
Right. So in Bangalore, what we have is basically it's a pretty big R&D center, and we have both hardware and software development that is happening here in the Bangalore center, right? So a lot of the 5G, Dimensity chipsets that have been developed, a lot of the core work, whether it is in hardware on the SoC design, the system on a chip design, or in the CPU, the processor design itself, right? Going down to the SRAM, the memory technology that goes, which is a building block that goes into these CPUs and the SoCs, a lot of that has been actually done out of here. And, we're talking about absolutely leading edge technology development that is happening at the Bangalore Center. And this is on the hardware side. Even on the software side, a lot of 5G, software, modem software actually has been developed here as well. And the multi-generational workforce that we have in Bangalore, which spans across industry experts, which have over, let's say, 15 plus to 20 plus years of experience, down to fresh campus graduates, right? So that's a pretty big span in terms of generations that we have working here. That the overall this vibrant center has been an invaluable asset to the overall MediaTek story, right? And of course, it serves as a technology innovation center where we work together to create solutions for emerging market requirements. And this is done in partnership across, different centers. So it's, of course, Bangalore can't be the only one who is doing this. So we work very closely with Taiwan, with US, sometimes even with our European counterparts on the software side, on 5G software side, to, evolve the strategies and evolve the solutions that cater to, the emerging market. And of course, I think, when you talk about an R&D center, if you look at it, why this has been possible is also because of the regular reskilling and upskilling programs that we have internally, right? And not only internally, also in association with universities to, prepare the workforce for working on these technologies. And
Absolutely.
we conduct, regular leadership workshops, HR camps to nurture a culture, that blends with the current social, economic, and cultural aspects, right? So, I think that is how the Bangalore Center plays a role.
Absolutely. And how does the India market fare when it comes to talent and operational excellence? How are you looking at boosting the talent acquisition to support and supplement this great run at MediaTek?
Yeah, so if you kind of look at it, right, overall, India is the world's largest population of young people, right? And according to the UNFPA projections, we will continue to have one of the youngest populations in the world, not for too long, but till 2030 at least, right? And if we just look at some statistics, we have about 935,000 students who were enrolled in computer science engineering, and about 611,000 students enrolled for electronics engineering just in the academic year 2020, right? And these are just some sample numbers, and we have these kind of numbers enrolling every year, roughly, right? So the engineering workforce, so to say, is a continuous increasing one, right? In the number of graduates that we have from college, right? So, of course, this makes India the hottest destination for international companies, like MediaTek for R&D and operational excellence capabilities. And, we have, if I look at Bangalore, because that is where I have been in my last 25 years in my career. And I started off my career with TI. So when TI set up its center way back in the 80s, right now it's almost 35 years since the center, has been there. I can safely say that there is not a single semiconductor company that doesn't have a footprint here, in Bangalore, right? So what I was saying, it's not only the engineering talent, that is coming out in the universities, right? It's not only the fresh talent, but it is because of the many years of the semiconductor industry being here, for 35 plus years now. The kind of skill set and talent that has developed over all these years is actually ideal to create new technologies and solutions which are ideal for the semiconductor market in India, which is a big buzzword now, right? I mean, with a lot of government focus on it, and with the Make in India focus, I think the time is ripe when, this skill set and talent that has been developed can start things on their own and start creating indigenous products or indigenous solutions, in the semiconductor space. So, I think we're living in very exciting times, I would
Absolutely.
say.
Indeed, it's a very exciting phase globally as well, as the digital landscape is evolving fast and leading technologies are, powering billions of connected devices. Where does the ubiquitous chipset technology see itself progressing in the near future?
Yeah, so that is, I think, if we look at it, I mean, we've had Moore's law there forever, right? I mean, now.
Yeah.
And every year, and I come from a standard cells background, right? So I come from a very transistor centric background. So almost every other year, we kind of think that, okay, there is doomsday predictions, right, for the industry, that, okay, you can't go further down. And but it just seems like, we are at a phase where there is never ending technology innovation, where we are going to go further down in terms of nanometers, if I would say, right? I mean, before the FinFET era, we thought that, okay, it's going to be almost impossible to design anything, further down. But, we went into 7 nanometers, we went to 5 nanometers. At MediaTek, right now, we're working on 3 nanometer technology, right? And starting to look at 2 nanometer as well. And even in the Bangalore Center, in fact, we are working on that. So one is from the technology side and the manufacturability side, right? I mean, where you can get, more integrated chips with, with much more transistors, much more features, that trend will continue, right? But on the other hand, I think, what is also happening is that we have technologies that are slightly older and which will stay for longer, right? And we will find ways to make use of that technology to stay, to have a longer run, right? From the overall economics point of view. But I think, overall across the world, just like you mentioned, Gaurav, that, digitization as such, right? It has become, it's more of a, you can't imagine anything without digitization anymore, right? I mean, if you look at even newest things like, the whole, the Bitcoin, the multiverse, all these things, at some point you would think that, are these science fiction words, right? But we know that this is no longer science fiction, and this is what the reality really is. And to make those things a reality, the only thing, that is going to help is all these, is semiconductors, right?
Right.
And is the technology that MediaTek, companies like MediaTek, I would say, are working on, to really make it true. So I don't see any end to this, industry, so to say. I mean, it is only going to become more and more, it has to become more and more efficient, and we have to find more innovative ways, to make it more sustainable, is what I would say, right?
Absolutely.
So, I think, so there is a future, but I think, the other thing also is that a little bit we talked about AI ML along with 5G in the product space, but I think AI ML will also play a big part and a big role in the way we develop technology as well, right? So if you look at it, earlier when we used to do chip design, of course, many years ago, it was all hand placing out, right? We moved away from that. We had EDA tools which were doing it for us, and now we are actually having AI driven chip design as well, right?
Right.
Engineers' bandwidth is used for only very very critical technical problems, right? The majority part of the thing is is probably still can be done by AI to a large extent. So those are some of the things is going to make a big difference or changing the landscape that we work in.
Right. And, finally, with 5G in play, the technology realm in India will witness some massive transformation, and some of these which probably we can anticipate taking place in the very near future. What are some of the new technology trends that you foresee with the arrival of 5G in India?
So I think, once it's completely rolled out, 5G will help unlock the next level of economic growth, right? I don't think we ourselves have a very good understanding of, the quantum leap that we will see, right? Today, it's almost, not perceivable in a way. The diverse use cases through performance, edge computing, network slicing, and inherent security, right? I mean, various use cases. More importantly, I think what it will lead to is a smarter and more connected world, right? So there will be real-time gathering and sharing of information. Like that is already happening today, and I mean, we all know the moment someone goes to a restaurant and eats a nice dish, it's out there on Facebook, right? I mean, those kind of things, it's like, it will just become probably more and more real time, right? I mean, on a more real use case in terms of, I mean, if you just look at it, right, since we're talking about India, a couple of decades ago, when you went to the market, just a normal market, of course, you wouldn't see any of those market vendors with phones in their hands, right? Now, you can't imagine, right? You just cannot imagine going to any of these markets without any of the vendors having a mobile phone in their hand. More importantly, most likely it will be a smartphone, right? It will be a smartphone which will have a UPI interface where you can make digital payments. Not only that, they are getting real-time updates on whether, let's say, the vegetable has come in the bigger market, or let's say, fish has been caught. Those kind of things, it is impacting even ordinary lives, is what I would say, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that is what is exciting for me more than the, other part of it, right? So it is where you can make a more connected world where, it really benefits and empowers ordinary lives, right? And of course, it will help strengthen education, healthcare. We saw during the pandemic, everyone, all children moved to online, but really making classrooms accessible, to the remotest parts of the country is going to be a reality if 5G, it rolls out across the board, right? Of course, healthcare we talked about in terms of remote surgeries, remote, consultation that is already happening. But again, going to parts of the country, especially in a country like India, where it is not, where you couldn't reach otherwise. That is what is going to drive the difference. and of course, agriculture, logistics, infrastructure sectors. So 5G is expected to form the backbone of all these emerging technologies, right?
Right.
And again, you have Internet of Things, right, where you have machine-to-machine communications. And so, this whole thing of you really having, starting with a smart home, right? You can remotely control your home. You want to switch on the geyser, you want to switch off the lights, you want to, all those things. I mean, just making it more, I think a lot of this was already capable, but really making it real time, where the consumer experience, where the user experience becomes a good one, rather than a very slow one where there was latency earlier. That is what is going to change. It's going to become a reality as part of your life, right?
Right.
And of course, then when you start with a smart home, that leads into the smart city, right? We know we have so many smart city projects in India. For that to become a reality, 5G has to be the backbone, of these kind of things, including driverless vehicles, autonomous vehicles, and things like that. And of course, while I'm talking on this topic, on the 5G smartphone adoption specifically, right? The prediction right now is that it will reach about 400 million smartphones in 2026 from the current number, or I think last year's number, which was 300 million, right? So that's just 100 million smartphones growth in about 5 years, which is massive, right? So, just like we talked about the market vendors, and, it is with every single person having a smartphone and with 5G on it, I think there is no end to the kind of new business scenarios, new technology scenarios that you will be able to see across shopping, entertainment, learning, healthcare, gaming. All these things will, just leverage the technology in phases or in manners that we have not seen today.
Right. Absolutely. No, thank you so much, Rituparna, for this very wonderful and deep insights, and also helping us crystal ball gaze into what the future could look like. Thank you so much for taking the time out and dropping by to have this conversation.
Thanks a lot, Gaurav. It was my pleasure.